That's a great opportunity to promote your tuck shop. Let people know you're there and that you always need help. Plant the seed about prospective volunteers amongst the incoming parents. If parents are given an info pack on that day, you could potentially think about getting a tuck shop flyer printed up, an information flyer, and add them into the pack that the parents are given. And that will have how to get in contact with you, as well as what days you're open. And also let them know that if they drop by the tuck shop during a school tour, you might like to say a few words. So if it's the principal doing the tours or the P&C president, let them know to throw over to you and you can give the tuck shop a little bit of a plug, make yourself known. If you are lucky enough to have had plenty of volunteers or even some, make sure you know their plans for next year. Some of them may have children that are finishing at the school, moving on, either primary school to high school or finishing high school, and they won't be available anymore. Or they may wish to keep on coming back. Or if your volunteers' work commitments have changed. So just make sure you're not counting on the same people coming back next year that have helped you out this year. We've got quite a lot of information on our website about volunteers, recruitment, management, and we also offer a course, which there's a link there to the volunteer management course, which is on our website. That will help you come up with a volunteer recruitment plan and put it into place. By the way, if anyone has any questions along the way, please interrupt me. Number 2, setting goals for 2025. So these may be financial goals, for example, profit, pricing structure. They may be service goals, such as staffing, menu changes, opening times. So have a think about whether the student body has changed size or structure. Quite a lot of schools in 2025 will be introducing year 5s for the first time. So there'll be 5 to 12 schools. And that means that a lot of primary schools, many local primary schools, will be quite short on students in year 5 and 6 because they're going to the nearby private schools. So if this is the case in your school, then you might need to have a little think about opening times. What's your incoming student body going to look like? And then structure the tuck shop around that as much as you can. Make sure you discuss your goals with the managing body at your school, whether that's P&C or the school. We do have a sample tuck shop goals and objectives information sheet on our website as well. So jump online and have a look. Point number 3 that we'd like to talk about is in regards to stock control. So it is very important that you get a stock take done in term 4, even if you haven't managed to do one at any other time throughout the year, because the value of the stock that you are holding impacts your overall financial figures. And when you're trying to gauge a perspective on the performance of the tuck shop for 2024, you need to have accurate stock take and the value of that stock that you're holding. So try to make it as accurate as possible. It will make your life easier if you run down stock levels before you count it. So leave your stock take until later this term if you can, but definitely keep it in mind that it's something that you have to do and run down stock levels as much as you can before you do it. When you've done your stock take, you give the figures to the treasurer or the financial person on staff with the school and have it costed and then included in the financial figures for the year, because it does have an impact on your financial figures. We've got some stock take resources as well on our website. So we've got tally sheets there that you can just print off. They're ready to go. You just write in each item and then as you count, you write the numbers in. We've also got wastage logs on there. So those can help if you're not quite sure how to get started or you don't have these resources already ready to go. Next, we are going to look at preparing a budget for 2025. So we need to gather as much accurate financial data for the year as we can, including staff wages, any new equipment that was purchased, any expenses to do with training, for example. So this will help you to prepare a budget for the coming year. You'll need as close to a complete year's worth of financial data as possible so that you've got an accurate starting point to talk about next year. Do you think there'll be large expenses in the coming year? Do you need a new fridge, for example, a new cold room, some new shutters? Any significant expenses like that you should include in your budget, and also any training that you're planning. Try and find out the cost and include that in your budget as well. Quast has a free financial advice service for members. So if you do need additional assistance with preparing your budget for next year, please do get in touch. We're happy to help you with that. So still on the topic of finances, reviewing our suppliers and our pricing. So this may be something that you routinely do throughout the year, but if not, this end of the year period when you're winding down is a good time to do it. So you need to be thinking about checking both what you're paying for your stock and also what you're selling it for. If you don't tend to check invoices when you receive stock, take the time to start doing it now so you can actually get a picture of what's occurred with suppliers' pricing throughout the year. Build any changes into your pricing structure in the tuck shop. Suppliers will usually let you know if they're putting prices up, but not necessarily. So if you don't want any nasty surprises, just have a look at some invoices and see what's happening with your commonly ordered items. You might like to do some spot checks just to make sure you're being looked after by your suppliers. So compare the price of a few of your key product lines. So something like ham is a good one, or pizza sauce, between the supplier that you're currently buying from and a few competitors. Don't forget that the Department of Education has a standing offer arrangement that includes several suppliers in different parts of Queensland for various categories of stock. So drinks, dry goods, baked items, etc. There's more information on our website, including the current eligible suppliers and how to apply. So you might be able to get some cheaper pricing that way. Reach out to new suppliers if you're thinking of changing. Reach out to them now in term 4 and ask what they can do for you in the new year if you were to switch. Number 6, you might like to start thinking about planning your menu for next year. Which items would you like to rest? Is there something new that you'd like to try? So as the year winds down, it's a good time to start thinking about this, at least for term 1. If you've kept itemised sales records, it's easy to tell what your slow sellers have been this year, and these would be the items that you would rest in term 1 next year and introduce new ones in their place. If you need some inspiration, you could try a survey of students or staff. Give them several options to choose from rather than an open-ended survey question. What would you like to see on the menu? Give them a few options to choose from. Hold a brainstorming session, potentially, at the canteen window. You could ask kids that way what they'd like to see. Pick your volunteers' brains for ideas. You might be lucky enough to have volunteers from various cultural backgrounds who've got fabulous dishes that they could suggest. Just bear in mind whether you can bulk cook them, so upscale the recipe to bulk cook them. You can also have a scroll through other school Tuckshops menus for some ideas. You can look at the school websites. Often they'll have their Tuckshop menus posted on their website for the public, or maybe on a Facebook page like our Quast group, which is called Tuckshop Conversations, which is a closed group for Tuckshop conveners. We've also got a lot of recipes and sample menus on the website. So if it's been a while since you've jumped on our website, you might like to have a little look through. A lot of those recipes have actually been posted by conveners, so we know that they work. They've successfully been used in Tuckshops. Be practical before you put a new item on your menu. Think about your equipment, available skills, space, and do you have the staff to implement it? And then cost the item. Figure out how much you should sell it for with a certain markup before you put it on your menu. There's some recipe costing templates on our website as well that you can use. Number 7, maintenance. So carry out maintenance checks on all your equipment, flag anything that needs attention or replacement or repair. Follow up if you've got any outstanding new equipment that you've requested that hasn't arrived, or if you've placed a repair request for an item with school management. Bearing in mind that businesses will all slow down over Christmas. So if you're waiting on something and you haven't received it back yet and you haven't heard from them, it would be a great idea to chase them up and find out where it's at. So any of the maintenance jobs that you've been putting aside because you've been too busy throughout the year, this is the time to try and deal with them. We need to do a deep clean at this time of the year. So check your cleaning schedule. Check that it's up to date if it's been a while. Your deep clean should include fridges, roller doors, all need to be wiped, shutters, inside your cupboards, inside your ovens and outside. So more than just your standard day-to-day clean. Also inside your storage rooms that you need to take out things and clean in there as well. If you're due pest control or you're not sure when it was last conducted, you might need to find out from the office or from P&C and whether that's your responsibility to book it in or whether they do that for you. The holidays is the perfect time to have pest control done. All right, number 8, getting organised early. Many suppliers close their orders early in anticipation of a busy week 1 when the new school year starts. So have a look on their websites. They should have publicised their closing dates and also the length of their closure periods. So don't leave your ordering too late for term 1 because you might miss some cut-offs. Plan the stock that you will need once you've decided what menu items you're going to have. Place orders if you can already, or make yourself some notes for when the closure times happen and place them a little bit closer. Get organised over the first half of this term. Try and organise deliveries in week 1 if you can, so that you can start the year next year without the stress of wondering if you're going to have enough food, so you don't get caught short. Number 9, so more planning. We're planning our training and events for next year. Ask the school office for some advance notice for some key dates that might be coming up in term 1 that will involve the tuck shop. So this will help with a much smoother start to the year. So anything that's going to involve you catering, so the school disco, if that's catered out of the tuck shop, or if there are any big staff meetings planned that you need to cater for, see if they can tell you some dates or at least a rough idea of weeks when those are booked in for term 1 so that you can plan around it. Also, are there any theme weeks in term 1? If you or your staff have been planning on attending any training in the new year, try and book it in now if you can. Flag the dates with the office or P&C early if it's going to require the tuck shop to close for a day or 2, and plan around it so that the school can plan around it as well. Set a reminder for early January if the dates aren't available yet for when you can do training so that you can book in as early as possible. And the last one, party time. Start planning a thank you event for your volunteers or an end of year celebration to reward them for their contributions throughout the busy year. People's social calendars fill up quickly in term 4, if they're lucky. So try to lock down a date and also a venue, because venues fill up quickly. We often talk about how important it is to acknowledge the hard work of your volunteer helpers, and you would really like them to come back, as well as your paid staff. They make a successful tuck shop possible. So to make them feel appreciated, try and make the event as inclusive as possible so that as many people can attend as possible, and then have fun and relax together. So for example, asking your volunteers, would they prefer a family-friendly event with their kids, or would they prefer to go out at night, adults only? So something like a picnic where everybody brings a plate to share, that's a really affordable option. It can be a family-friendly option as well, if that's what your volunteers prefer. Try to cater to the diverse range of cultures amongst your volunteers as well when choosing your events. So don't make it in a bar if there are people that don't drink alcohol, for example. All right, that's it from me. Thank you so much for tuning in. Does anyone have any questions at all?